हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
श्रीनिवास प्रभु धन्यवाद प्रणाम। जय श्री प्रभु।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम। जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद।
धन्यवाद प्रणाम नंदिनी सुंदरी माता जी। हरे कृष्ण। I think we can begin now. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनं शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam, pangum langayate girim, yat kripa tamaham bande, Shri Gurum Dinatarinam, Paramananda Madhavam, Shri Chaitanyeshwaram. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we are going to discuss today from Shrimad Bhagavatam, chapter 15. Name of chapter is The Pandavas Retire Time. Last chapter we saw the distress of Maharaj Yudhishthir. And Maharaj Yudhishthir, he turns to Bhim and he shares his concern when he saw the anomalies, how people are becoming greedy, violent, and he saw so many symptoms in the air. The animals, the cows are passing by the left, the jackals are vomiting fire, the clouds are raining blood, and and there are anomalies in the season, any point of time, very violent wind, and all the mind of people were disturbed. When Yudhishthira Maharaj saw so many disturbances, he understood that something very, very inauspicious has happened. And on the top, Arjuna has not returned from Dwarka, and it's been 7 months. And he was expressing this concern. He was sharing all this. Just see, my dear brother Bhima, what is happening. And Arjuna has not returned. And Narad Muni said, he said something about Krishna's departure. Did that already happen? So in that way, when he was grieving, then Arjuna came. Kunti Devi was there, all the Pandavas were there, Yudhishthira Maharaj was there, Bhima was there, Arjuna head was down, and tears were flowing from his eyes, and he was lamenting and he was feeling depressed. And then it was a very fearful situation for Maharaj Yudhishthira, because he was thinking maybe what I was thinking had happened, but Yudhishthira Maharaj has no guts to say. So he was asking one by one, why are you feeling so morose? Were you not treated properly because of familiarity? Did you not protect a worthy woman or old man? Were you not able to give charity to the Brahmanas? Did you not keep your vows to somebody you gave? And various reasons, Yudhishthira Maharaj, and how are the Yadavas? How is uh, the queens, Vasudev, um, Surasena, and one by one, how is Uddhava? How is and one by one, Yudhishthira Maharaj counted many. How is Gada, the cousin brother of Krishna, and finally, after asking everybody and giving the possible reasons why Arjuna, what can be the possible reason, the 10 reasons that caused dejection. After speaking that, then Yudhishthira Maharaj at the end he says, or is your friend Krishna, or has he departed from this planet? And then Maharaj Yudhishthira said, I can find no other mean why you could be so morose. And after he stopped speaking, now there is a beginning of the 15th chapter. Then after Arjuna hears Yudhishthira Maharaj inquiries, Arjuna became grief-stricken. Already Arjuna was in a very morose state. And when the last question he heard, or has Krishna departed, Arjuna thinking he was having a shooting pain in his heart. That was from he was that was coming from a strong feeling of separation. And remembering Krishna, and remembering all that has happened, all that he has seen. The words are not coming from Arjuna's mind, Arjuna's mouth, but all the scene of complete massacre, all the bloodshed, Krishna's departure, and everything that has happened to him on the way, they all were in his heart, and he was feeling. He was becoming overwhelmed with sorrow. He could not, he did not had words. His mouth and his heart was drying up. Arjuna is a very transcendental personality, but he lost all the luster. And remembering the Lord and remembering what had happened, he didn't had strength to speak anything. Tears were constantly flowing from the face of Arjuna, and with great difficulty, Arjuna is trying to check his tears, extremely deeply pained because of his longing to see Krishna, and especially when Krishna has disappeared. And finally, remembering Krishna's friendship, Krishna's love as like a parent, Krishna, um, his relationship with Krishna, touched with servitorship, uh, and just the various um, interactions with Krishna, becoming he became overwhelmed, and then he began to speak. He, with great difficulty, he checked his tears and he began to speak. And the first thing that Arjuna spoke, he said, "The Lord, my intimate friend, has left me." And when he said, "My intimate friend has left me," again tears gushed from his eyes. And everybody is listening, and everybody is speechless, like silent. And Arjuna became silent. And then he spoke many things. And Arjuna said, "Whatever powers I have, by which seeing my strength, uh, even the demigods were astonished, and the whole world would revere, would respect me. Um, all that power is no longer with me." And um, slowly, Arjuna explains everything, but in this, that when he says the astounding power which astonished even the demigods is no longer with me, Prabhupada mentions in the purport that whatever power we have, whatever strength we have, whatever influence we have, whatever abilities we have, whatever intelligence we have, everything is given by Krishna, and it is something given by Krishna that is meant to be used in the service of Krishna with a feeling of gratitude. Um, but if one becomes one, Prabhupada says one should not become proud of his strength and everything that one has. Rather, one should feel obliged by what Krishna has graced me with, what skills or whatever Krishna has graced me with, and with gratitude use it in service of Krishna, knowing well that any time this power can be taken away, because this is something that doesn't belong to us. It is just the mercy of Krishna that Krishna is giving us this strength. And Arjuna was realizing that. And Arjuna said, "Whatever astonishing power I had is no longer with me, that astonished even the demigods." And then Arjuna says, "I have lost him." Um, a moment of separation from Krishna makes this universe void. The whole universe has a life only because Krishna was there, and now Krishna has left. Everything has become void. Mother Earth has become void, and everyone has become void. And I have become void. I have lost him. And finally, Arjuna recalls all the favors Krishna has done to him. And he says, "Only by the mercy of Lord Krishna was I able to win the hand of Draupadi. Um, and I vanquished all the lusty princes." So many princes came because Draupadi was extremely beautiful, transcendental personality who was born from fire. And everybody wanted Draupadi in the Swayamvar, and so many lusty princes were there. Arjuna says, "It is only by the mercy of Krishna was I able to pierce the fish target by seeing the agitated water, was able to vanquish and win the hand of Draupadi by vanquish the lusty princes." only by um, only by the mercy of Krishna was I able to defeat Indra. And there is this story where Agni Dev was became hungry. So he came to Krishna and he told Krishna, Krishna, I'm very hungry. I need something to eat. So Krishna said, there is a Khandava forest here and you can eat this forest. So Agni Dev, he started devouring the Khandava forest and all the living entities that are within that forest. Krishna gifted the whole forest to Agni. And as Agni was devouring, Indra became angry and Indra started showering rain, and Agni became disturbed. And Agni told Krishna and Arjuna, Agni took shelter of Krishna and Arjuna that I'm not able to devour this forest because of Indra. Then Arjuna, he challenged Indra, and Arjuna defeated Indra. And Indra became very humbled, and Indra gave weapon to um, Arjuna, became very pleased. And Indra also knew that Arjuna is my son. So Indra was very pleased to give him many gifts to Arjuna. And Indra was able to, Arjuna was able to defeat Indra, Krishna says, only because of the mercy of Krishna. I defeated Indra and the other demigods. And then as Agni was devouring the Khandava forest, then there was a demon. His name was Manava, Maya demon or Manava. He was Maya Danava. And he, when he saw the fire is consuming, he started running. And then Krishna, Agni is trying to capture him to devour him also. Agni want to eat everybody in the forest because this is his food now. This whole forest belongs to Agni. Krishna has gifted him. So he started running, and Agni looked at Krishna. Krishna, I want to eat everything here. So Krishna released an arrow to kill Maya Danava so that Agni could devour him. And then Krishna's Sudarshan Chakra is behind Maya Danava, Agni is behind Maya Danava, and Maya Danava is running. And then he took shelter of Arjuna and he fell at the feet of Arjuna. He told Arjuna, Arjuna, please protect me. And Arjuna is like Kshatriya. So anybody who takes shelter of a Kshatriya, especially a Kshatriya like Arjuna, Arjuna never says no to anybody who takes shelter. Arjuna says, I will protect you. And the moment Arjuna says, I will protect you, Sudarshan Chakra stopped. Sudarshan Chakra then disappeared, and Agni stopped. And it is Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, Krishna was very pleased. Krishna was very pleased. I mean, Krishna own chakra is about to kill Mayadanava along with Agni. And then still Krishna was very pleased because Krishna saw that this Danava has taken shelter of my devotee. So Prabhupada says that is a benediction that even if Krishna, even if one takes shelter of a devotee of the Lord, he can be saved even from the wrath of Krishna also, or the desire of Krishna also. And then there, Srila Prabhupada says that this shows that how a devotee is more merciful even than Krishna. He was a demon actually, and Krishna wanted to kill him because one of the reasons Krishna came is to I mean, he has demoniac tendencies, very inconceivable. And Krishna wanted to relieve the Mother Earth from the burden. Um, so he was about to kill. But then when he took shelter of Arjuna, then Arjuna said, I will give you protection. So then he became very grateful, uh, Maya Danava. So he asked Arjuna that, what can I do for you? Arjuna said, I don't need anything. Now you are safe, you go. Then Krishna said to Arjuna, no, he can help you with building an assembly hall. Um, and then Arjuna said, all right, Krishna, whatever you say. And then he asked, and Maya Danava is mentioned as in Mahabharata as an incarnation of Vishwakarma. Um, so he had mystical powers to build. Maya Danava actually built the Sudharma Hall also for the demigods. And he built this Indraprastha because this whole place was protected by Indra. And that's why Indra fought with Agni to not allow him to devour. So, um, mm, mm. So Arjuna says here that it is only by the mercy of Krishna that I could defeat Indra and other demigods. And this wonderful assembly hall, it is only by Krishna's mercy that Maya Danava built this wonderful assembly hall, because he requested us. And then it is only by Bhima was also there next to Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira Maharaj and Bhima were talking when Arjuna came from Dwarka. And then Arjuna says, even our brother Bhima, he was able to defeat Jarasandha only by the will or the mercy of Lord Krishna. So Jarasandha, he actually captured many, many kings around Mother Earth. He captured them for a yagya. It's called Mahabhairava Yagya. He wanted to perform and kill all these kings. And Bhishma, he went in disguise along with Krishna and Arjuna. Bhima went with the Krishna and Arjuna. And then Arjuna, Jarasandha, decided to fight with Bhima. And Bhima was helpless. And then Krishna told him how Jarasandha could be killed. Just like in the entire battlefield, how Krishna always protected. Krishna gave the power to Arjuna and to others. And Krishna even gave them the guidance of how it could be done. So Krishna was their friend, and Arjuna was remembering how much Krishna has helped us throughout. And now Krishna is no more there with us. And he is remembering. Um, he's remembering. It is said also, Srila Prabhupada says, one should always remember what others have done to us. And what one should forget what we have done to others. um, what good others have done to us, and the opposite with bad. One should remember what bad we have done to others. One should remember those. That will keep us humble. And one should forget what bad others have done to us, but one should only remember what bad we have done to others, and opposite for good. So one by one, he is recounting everything that was possible only by the mercy of Krishna. And Bhima, he could defeat Jarasandha, and he released all the kings captured by Jarasandha. And all those kings were very grateful for getting released. And later on, they paid heavy tributes, gifts to Maharaj Yudhishthira. Then, um, only by the mercy of Krishna was all the offenders who offended Draupadi, um, who tried to dishonor Draupadi by his mercy, they were all killed. And um, Dusasan, he actually, Draupadi hairs were loose and she was brought by force. And Dusasan, he held the Draupadi by her hairs and treated her very, um, um, like very inappropriate, in an inappropriate way. He treated Draupadi. And all those who supported Dusasan, or all those who were enjoying the scene, all their wives, their hairs were let loose because of the death of their husband. And that's how Krishna, and that was also possible by the mercy of Krishna. Then Arjuna says, we also remember how when we were in Vrindavan, when we were in Braja, then Durvasa Muni came and sent by Duryodhan out of to take revenge on us or to harm us. He sent Durvasa Muni so we can be harmed by the curse. And Durvasa Muni came at such a time with 60,000 disciples, and he asked for food, and there was no food with us. The Akshay Patra that Draupadi owned that could supply food to unlimited number of people was also could not produce any food, because that Akshay Patra does not give food once Draupadi has eaten. So there was no means to feed Durvasa and all the sages. At that time, Krishna came and Krishna took a remnants from that Akshay Patra, and he became completely satisfied. And by that, all the demigods became, all the sages and Durvasa Muni became so filled um, mm, that they did not dare to come back to ask for food, and they ran away. And that was actually Krishna who saved us from Durvasa's anger. And then it was by the mercy of Krishna only that um, I could astonish even Shiva, Parvati, and others in the fighting. So there is another particular instance where Duryodhan, he sent a demon, the demon to kill Arjuna. The demon came in the form of a boar, and then Krishna shot an arrow on the boar, and Lord Shiva, he disguised himself as a Kirata, or as basically in disguise, and as a normal human being. And then he also shot an arrow, and they both of course Lord Shiva knows everything, so Lord Shiva wanted to test Arjuna's power. So Lord Shiva told Arjuna in disguise as a Kirata, he told Arjuna that, actually I have killed the boar, not you. Arjuna said, no, I have killed the boar, boar, not you. Then Lord Shiva said, okay, let us fight. Let us see who is more powerful. The one who is more powerful has killed the boar. And then they had a valiant fight between Arjuna and Lord Shiva. And very valiantly Arjuna fought. And Lord Shiva was very much astonished and surprised to see the strength of Arjuna. And later on, of course, Lord Shiva is fully empowered by Lord Krishna. So Lord Shiva, when he was exhausted, Arjuna was exhausted fighting, and then his there was no arrow remaining in his quiver, nothing. And then Lord Shiva smiled, but he was very astonished. Then Arjuna, he prayed to Lord Shiva. Arjuna didn't knew that the person standing before me is Lord Shiva. He prayed to Lord Shiva, and he offered a garland to Lord Shiva in his mind to give him protection. And then he opened his eyes and he saw the garland Arjuna offered to Lord Shiva in his mind is garlanding this Kirata. Then he understood that this is Lord Shiva, and then he fell at the feet of Arjuna, fell at the feet, and Lord Shiva said that I am super pleased with your strength and your intelligence and your devotion. I am just overwhelmed. So I will give you my own astra, which was called Pashupata Astra. I will give you my own astra that is invincible, that cannot be defeated. So Arjuna says, I could defeat Indra, I could win Draupadi, we could counteract Durvasa's curse, or we were saved from Durvasa's curse. Bhima could kill Jarasandha. I could astonish Lord Shiva. And on another at another point of time, Arjuna went in the self same body to heaven. So there Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, this is not possible. Only by pious activities in this life can one be given a heavenly birth. One can go to heaven in the next birth. But in the self same body going to heaven is not possible. But Arjuna could go. And when Arjuna went there, Indra was very surprised to see Arjuna's power. And Arjuna shared the throne with Indra. And later on, there was a demon who attacked Indra. His name was Nivata Kavacha. And Indra became very scared. So Indra asked Arjuna, he took shelter of Arjuna's powerful arms. He asked Arjuna to give shelter. And then Arjuna killed that demon in the heavenly planets. So Arjuna is just recalling with gratitude, and he is recalling of what all everything was possible only by the will of Krishna. And at another point of time, when Arjuna was on the Pandavas were incognito, they lost the game of dice, and they were sent for 13 years forest and 1 year incognito. And if they were recognized in that last year, then they will have to remain in the forest for another 13 more years. So when they were incognito or disguised, all the Pandavas were in disguise along with Kunti, along with Draupadi, when they were in disguise. Then they took shelter of the kingdom of Virat. So at that time, Duryodhan got a hint. So Duryodhan went to the kingdom of Virat. And Duryodhan and the Kauravas, they picked up quarrel with the king of Virat, and they abducted all the cows of Virat, and they started taking away the cows. Then Indra single-handedly fought with the Kauravas in disguise and saved all the cows. Later on, they were recognized, but the 1 year was already over. So they didn't had to go to the exile again, and that was also possible. He said I could defeat, and that time, this is before Mahabharat war. That time Bhishma was there, Drona was there, and all the Pandavas, Karna, um, um, all Dusasan, Duryodhan, they all were there, and Arjuna could defeat the entire army single-handedly and save the cows of Virat, the abducted cows of Virat. So he says obviously that was only possible by the mercy of Krishna. Then by the mercy of Krishna, the Kauravas' life duration was withdrawn. Krishna just looked at the battlefield at all the Kauravas, and Krishna decided, okay, you all will die. And that's it. So Krishna reduced the duration of life of the Kauravas, but just by glancing in the battlefield. And then such powerful fighters like during the Mahabharat war, such powerful fighters like Drona, Bhishma, Karna, and Duryodhana, they could not even touch a hair on my body, and that was only possible by the mercy of Krishna. And even when my uh, horses were thirsty, and I stepped down the chariot in order to give water to quench the thirst of my horses. Nobody attacked me at that time. And that was also by the mercy of the Lord. And the Lord has done so much for me and for all of us throughout. Still, I dare to engage Him as my chariot driver. And that's how again and again continuously Arjuna is expressing his love, his gratitude, the reciprocation of Lord Krishna. And this constantly speaking about Krishna was giving him solace. And it is said that and it is described, um, Prabhupada says that when we become very advanced in our path of devotion, then this stage will come for us also that we will feel great separation from Krishna. And then Prabhupada says at that point of time, by hearing about Krishna or by speaking about Krishna, one can get solace from separation from Krishna. So like Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, they were feeling intense separation from Krishna and Srimati Radharani, and they overcame or they tolerated that separation by offering prayers, by describing the various pastimes of Krishna, by discussing about Krishna. And that's how this is natural. Even when Krishna left Vrindavan, all the Vrajvasis, they were in intense pain of separation, and they would get solace by discussing about Krishna. And Arjuna, he was grief stricken that Krishna has left, and then he's just again and again telling about each and every instance, which everybody knows, obviously, because the whole Pandavas witness everything that Arjuna is speaking. But he's speaking just the principle of Krishna Katha, just the principle of discussing, just keeping Krishna as the subject matter. And we see Srila Prabhupada was also so addicted to speak about Krishna or to discuss about Krishna. Um, and then um, after then he became quiet after describing so many ways Krishna bestowed his mercy upon us. Then he became then Arjuna started remembering, and then he remembered the affectionate love that at various instances Krishna has showed upon Arjuna. um, how he cared, the intimate dealings, Krishna, the how Krishna would smile at Arjuna, how Krishna would address with love Arjuna, oh, oh son of Kunti, like how he would speak and he would address him, how frankly he would talk to Arjuna. And when Arjuna was remembering all these dealings of Krishna, Arjuna became overwhelmed with affection. Um, and then Arjuna said, just like a father who tolerate um, mm, the offenses of a son, or like a friend who tolerate the offenses of a friend, because of my intimate dealings, I dealt Krishna very casually, and he never felt bad, or um, he was always affectionate and kind upon me, independent of how we dealt with him. Although the people who are seeking liberation, they take shelter of his lotus feet, and I treated him so casually, and he was still very affectionate towards me. Um, and then um, um, mm, then Arjuna says, "What happened?" Like Yudhishthira Maharaj is like, "How are the Yadus? Why are you so morose?" Then Arjuna says, "After when I was coming back to Dwarka after Krishna's disappearance, I was bringing all the queens of Krishna back to Hastinapur. And on the way, some infidel cowherd men. Infidel means those who don't follow religious principles, or like irreligious cowherd men. Actually, our acharyas explained that that was Krishna who came as cowherd men to steal the queens and take them to Dwarka, eternal Dwarka. So Arjuna was bringing those. So what happened is there is this Mausal Leela. Mausal Leela is, we may have heard. Otherwise, some other time we discuss in more detail, um, where the Yadus they fought among each other and in an intoxicated state, and they killed each other. And then Krishna disappeared. So all the males they disappeared except Uddhava and one or two, three or four or five remaining. Everybody else disappeared, and all the ladies were still there. So Arjuna, he was bringing all the queens to Hastinapur. And then Krishna interfered on the way, came as cowherdman. And then Krishna took all the queens with him because they only want Krishna. Not all of them went with Krishna. Some remained with Arjuna. And there is also a great analysis that our acharyas have done of who went with Krishna to Dwarka and who remained. But anyways, some were stolen by Krishna, who were actually the eternal associate of Lord Krishna, because some were sages, those who appeared in Dwarka and in Vrindavan, and some were eternal associates. Eternal associates Krishna took, and the remaining they later on, after hearing Shrimad Bhagavatam from Uddhava in Vrindavan later on, in Kusum Sarovar. Then after at that point of time, they also went and joined Krishna in Dwarka or Krishna in Vrindavan. um, so Arjuna is sharing that when I was coming with all the queens in order to give them protection, then some infidel, he is calling them infidel means those who don't follow religious principles. Obviously, nobody is going to steal somebody else's wife. But only those who are irreligious by nature can do that. So Arjuna is telling those some infidel cowherd boys who are without any weapon, and they came and they fought with me, and I could not defeat them. I had the same Gandiva bow, the same chariot, the same astras given by Lord Shiva, given the chariot of Agni, the weapon, the quiver, which is inexhaustible. Everything the same. I had everything same. But because I did not have Krishna with me, I was defeated by these simple cowherd men who did not had any weapon also. And then Arjuna says, I could see that whatever power I had was only because of the grace of the Lord. By the grace of the Lord, I could conquer the whole world, and by the grace of the Lord, I could be conquered by these few cowherd men. I, Arjuna, the wielder of the bow, who was the instrument in winning the Mahabharata war, was defeated by a few cowherd men. Um, and yeah. Arjuna says everything, all my Gandiva bow, my quiver, my chariot, everything became useless actually. It is like putting ghee onto the ashes. If there is already an ash, even if you put ghee in it, it will not burn. Or like sowing the seed in a barren land. Even if you sow the seed, the land is barren, the seed will never sprout. Or like the money that is created by magic. There are some magicians, they create some money, but that money is illusory. You cannot take that money and become rich and buy anything. It's just an illusion created by magician. So just like money created by magic, or the seed in a barren land, or putting ghee onto the ashes, it's all completely useless. That money is useless, that ghee is useless, those seeds in the barren land is useless. Likewise, my Gandiva, my chariot, my horses, my arrows, and everything, I same Arjuna, I also became completely useless. Whatever I had was only because of the will of the Lord. And then he explained to Maharaj Yudhishthir how what actually happened, and he said how Samba and others, they played with the sages, and the sages cursed that whoever will be born will be the cause of the will wipe out the entire Yadu dynasty. Um, and then after saying this, how it all orchestrated and how Krishna then invited them to Prabhas Kshetra, and then they became intoxicated amongst each, they all became intoxicated. And the stronger Yadus, they attacked the weaker Yadus, and all the Yadus, they fought among each other. At the end, those who were like the strongest Yadus, even Krishna and Balaram, they took they took they took those bamboo stick, and they killed also the remaining Yadus. And in this way, just Krishna and Balaram remained, and everybody was annihilated. And then Arjuna says it was actually the Lord's will. And through this Mosal Leela, through this whole pastime of the destruction of Yadu dynasty, Krishna relieved um, uh, Mother Earth from Krishna relieved the burden of earth. And there Prabhupada mentions in the purport, how are the Yadus the burden on earth? Then Prabhupada says some of the Yadus are eternal associates of the Lord, and some of them are demigods in the mode of goodness. So how can they be burdened on earth? They are like the ornaments on earth, because when the eternal associate or the demigods come onto the earth, it's more like an ornament. And then Prabhupada says first thing is they were very powerful and they could never be defeated. And some of them were not like pure devotees. That's why some of them even found fault in Krishna and they blame Krishna. Krishna stole the Shamantaka jewel. Some of them are just demigods and they have some material desires, and they are attracted to power and they can misuse their power, and nobody will be able to defeat them. And just like one can, if one's feet is pricked by a thorn, one can remove the thorn from another thorn. Likewise, Krishna removed the yadus from other yadus using other. Thorn can only bring the thorn out, or a sharp needle can bring the thorn out. Likewise, otherwise, with our own hands, we cannot take the thorn out. Likewise, nobody could kill Yadus, and that's why, in a way, Yadus were the burden. Also, these Krishna is ending his pastimes now, so demigods have to go and take their post and continue their service, and they are leaving their services and here and looking, and if they're attracted to power here, it's all a burden. Although they are actually ornament, but they are simultaneously burden. So Arjuna says that's how there is a curse, and Krishna took them. They became intoxicated. They fought among each other. And there is Bhima, there is Yudhishthira, there is Kunti. They're all listening. They are eager to know. Just like if somebody leaves the body, then we say what was the external cause. Sometimes it is heart attack. Sometimes different people leave the body from different reasons. So Arjuna is explaining how this happened. The first thing he said is, um, I have lost him. My Lord, the dearest friend, I have lost him now. And then he explained how he has lost him, how we have all lost. Then Arjuna gives another example of bigger aquatics, they swallow smaller aquatics. Likewise, the stronger Yadus, they killed the weaker Yadus. Um, and after speaking, so Arjuna describes everything, how happened, how the Yadus were annihilated, how Krishna and Balaram they disappeared, and then how he was bringing the queens back to Dwarka, and he was also defeated. And yeah, the whole was, and then being overwhelmed with the feeling of separation, then he started remembering the instruction of Krishna that Krishna gave on the battlefield. Arjuna was naturally, um, just by, if in this material world also, if somebody has great affection or a deeper relation with somebody and they leave the body, how much pain is there? And how much was the attachment of how much pain we experience is actually based on our attachment to the person who leave the body, and how much attachment Arjuna had for Krishna. He's a pure devotee of Krishna. He has nothing to live for in this world other than for the pleasure of Krishna. His greatest joy was to be with Krishna. And when Krishna left, the whole world became to him like a null and void. He was um, covered by sorrow, lamentation, depression, separation. And then he started remembering the instruction that Krishna gave to Arjuna. Um, always think of me. Mm, and just surrender on to me, and this way, if you remember me at the time of death, you will come to me. And Arjuna only motive was to go back and join Krishna, and he will come to me. um, and as he was remembering these instructions given by Lord Krishna to Arjuna, he his remembrance of Lord Krishna, he closed his eyes. Everything became silent after speaking. And Arjuna just started remembering the lotus feet of Govinda. And all the instructions that Govinda gave, he started remembering. It is described how the time, the activities, and the separation, nothing could make Arjuna forget those instructions. Usually, when we hear something over a period of time, there's a natural tendency that we forget it. But Arjuna heard, and many years have passed since he heard Bhagavad Gita. An entire message of Bhagavad Gita was coming. So the time or whatever the unstable, lamented, depressed state Arjuna was in, whatever happened on the way, nothing could stop Arjuna to remember each and every instruction Krishna imparted to him on the battlefield. And that also is very significant for us, that sometime we hear, we read, we become absorbed in hearing and reading, and then we may not remember what we hear, what we read, but the time and other things cannot make us forget the transcendental knowledge um, um, that comes from the lotus mouth of spiritual master. Because Krishna says, Matta Smriti Jnanam Apohanam Cha, knowledge, forgetfulness, and remembrance comes from me. And whenever if we are sincere and if we make some mistake, then Krishna always helps us by making us remember the instruction of Lord Krishna from Bhagavad Gita, from Bhagavatam, from spiritual master, from Srila Prabhupada. So everything, see, whatever is going in, we are made up of that. We are made up of, now our consciousness is made up of what we are hearing. Just like we say, the food we eat has impact on our consciousness, and we are, in a way, we can say we are made up of the food that we eat. On a subtle level, on a consciousness level, gradually we are actually made up of everything that we are hearing gradually. And that's why there is a lot of importance on continuous shravanam. Just sky is the limit to how much we can hear and how much we can read. And what we are is we are made of our shravanam. And Srila Prabhupada also, Saraswati Thakur also told, for Srila Prabhupada, he told his printing press, the leader of the printing press, Saraswati Thakur told that whatever Abhay Babu writes, print it, because he likes to hear. So first there is Shravanam, and Shravanam naturally will lead to Kirtanam, because otherwise what will we speak if we don't hear? And that's why, and how will we direct our life when the life goes through various phases? That's why there is a lot of emphasis on continuously hearing, so that we become, or we want our constitution, our composition should be based on what we have heard. Our consciousness should be based on what we have heard. And then he deeply contemplated. He contemplated on the lotus feet of Govinda. And as he was remembering the lotus feet of Govinda and all the instructions he has heard from Govinda, his bhakti increased. He became deeply attached to the lotus feet of Govinda. And it became the lotus feet revealed in such deeper levels and the instruction that he came out of his sorrow. He started feeling joy in his heart. He started feeling hope in his heart. Lamentation left him. Depression left him. Tears no more coming out from his eyes. He became enlightened. He became detached from this material world. He became, Bhagavatam says, he became free from the cycle of birth and death. He 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 is no more asakti to his post, his powers, what he was before, his own family, like Subhadra is there, his wife, Draupadi is there, his wife, his grandson Parikshit is there, his mother Kunti is there. He became free from all entanglement. He became completely absorbed, and he developed just one desire, that is to attain the lotus feet of Krishna. And when just that transformation Arjuna was going through after speaking, everybody who was present in the assembly went through the same transformation. Yudhishthira Maharaj, when he saw the state of Arjuna, when he saw what Arjuna spoke, Yudhishthira Maharaj decided immediately to leave the household life. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj, Kunti Maharani, by hearing Arjuna, as Arjuna became completely absorbed in remembering lotus feet of Krishna, Yudhishthira Maharaj became completely absorbed in remembering the instruction of Lord Krishna, remembering the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And Kunti, she became completely absorbed in remembering the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. For all of them were living just for the sake of Krishna. And all of them had their love was directed only towards Krishna. And when they became completely absorbed in Krishna, they forgot everything. Kunti had no conception of these are my sons, I have to maintain them. But she became as just like the only relationship a spirit soul has is that of loving relationship with Krishna. They became situated in their constitutional position of Krishna plane. All of them who were listening to Arjuna and seeing the transformation of Arjuna, they all became liberated souls, and they all gained release from material existence. And that is only then it is possible for somebody to leave the home. Then Yudhishthira Maharaj, he um, established Maharaj Parikshit as the king of the world. Now Yudhishthira Maharaj has no other goal other than completely devote himself to the lotus feet of Govinda. No more responsibilities he can fulfill. He made Vajra, who was the grandson of Krishna, he established him as the leader of Mathura, and Parikshit Maharaj as the king of the world. And then he performed a yajna, which is to um, quit the household life. And then after performing on the completion of that yajna, Yudhishthira Maharaj gave up his opulent clothing and opulent ornaments, and he wore torn clothes. He he stopped eating, and he stopped speaking, and he acted as if he's deaf. So even if somebody calls, oh Maharaj Yudhishthira, even his mother called, even his wife called, even his brother called, he started acting like a deaf. He stopped speaking, he stopped eating, worn he worn torn clothes without even waiting for his own brothers. He left the kingdom and started walking towards the north, following the great souls to dedicate himself, life and soul, to Govinda. And seeing him, the brother, one by one, became gained released because of their attachment to the lotus feet of Govinda, gained release from the material existence, from the samsara, without any attachment, left all the ties to their own mother and wife and children, and the kingdom and their strength or power or ability or intelligence, and just dedicate themselves to remember the lotus feet of Govinda and follow their brother, keeping Govinda in their heart towards the north, walking towards the north. And they are not that they are all going together one by one. That time Draupadi Kunti could feel by hearing Arjuna, they all also gain release from material life, from samsara, from the cycle of birth and death. Then, just like deaf people who cannot hear anything, who cannot speak anything, who have no hunger or thirst, they all one by one behind each other, including Subhadra, who was the wife of Arjuna, including Draupadi, including Kunti, Yudhishthir, Bhim, Sahadev, Nakul, Arjuna, all one by one, not together, um, in their own way, walking towards the north, as if they have no relationship among each other, completely dedicating themselves to the lotus feet of Govinda. And one by one, in their pure form, as they were slipping from the mountain ranges that they were treading, they one by one they slipped and they joined Lord Krishna in the spiritual world in their pure form. Why in their pure bodies? What does the mean of pure body? Because they are all eternal associate of the Lord. When they came, like for example, Arjuna also had the presence of Indra in him. Yudhishthir Maharaj also has the presence of Yamaraj in him because they came through their sons. But at the same time, they are all eternal associate of the Lord. So that eternal pure body, pure spiritual body, that eternal form, they joined Lord Krishna in the spiritual world. And Vidura, after that disappearance, after the departure of Dhritarashtra and Gandhari, Vidura, he went to Prabhas, and while meditating on the lotus feet of Govinda and how Govinda departed from here and how Govinda remembered Vidura here, being overwhelmed by separation, he also departed and resumed his post as Yamaraj in Pitralok. And this is how all the Pandavas, Kunti, Draupadi, Subhadra, they all retired. And the last verse says the Falastuti, and the Falastuti is that anybody who remembers the devotion of Pandavas and others and how they all left as soon as Krishna's departure, how they all left by remembering, by meditating, by hearing about the devotion of Pandavas, one will get devotion to Krishna just by hearing about the devotion of Pandavas. And this chapter also describes as soon as Krishna departed, Kali took over. The same day Kali took over, and Kali attacked those with the poor intelligence, attacked first, and they became overwhelmed by greed and lust and envy and violence and cheating propensity. And slowly, that started to spread. And the next chapter describe about what what did Maharaj Parikshit do, whom did he marry, how many sons he got, how did he ruled, and how he met Kali. And the conversation between Maharaj Parikshit and Kali, which is very technical, that comes in the 16th chapter. So that's all. It's 11 o'clock also about Pandavas retiring timely. If there are some discussions, we can take now. Some questions we can take now. Anybody has any questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. I have one question.
Hare Krishna.
Actually, here one thing is Pandavas are eternal associates from, they took one amsha from law, then they appeared.
Yes, they are eternal associate of the Lord in Dwarka. They came
Uh,
and along with a demigod also mixed with them, and then they appeared, and in the pure form they returned back.
okay, Prabhuji. And so they followed the Bhagavad Gita, all instructions, and they remembered Lord. Then they went.
Yes.
So this is the path we have to also follow. That's it, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Means my question is actually we are normal beings, right, Prabhuji? They are powerful, so that they can directly went to Lord Lotus feet, or like that time. That's it. My question.
Yes, Mataji. When Krishna asked Arjuna, um, Krishna, how can one attain you at the time of death? Krishna says, whoever remembers me at the time of death will attain me without fail. And then Krishna tells Arjuna, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mad anusmaran yudhyaye. He says, tasmat, therefore, Arjuna, sarveshu kaleshu, all the time, mad anusmaran, remember me. And yesterday only I was reading this 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna says, mad anusmaran yudhya. At the same time, you do your yudh, your duty, and at the same time, you do anusmaran on me, and how difficult it is to do that. And that's why, I mean, we are far, 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 far away from deep absorption to Krishna or attachment to Krishna. But what we can do is somehow or other we can try to engage ourselves in Krishna service, either by hearing about him, because we don't have the qualification to remember Krishna all the time. We are trying to become Krishna conscious by chanting our prescribed rounds, by avoiding sinful activities, by serving Krishna in various ways, by hearing, by reading, and we are trying to increase our Krishna consciousness so that eventually, that's why it is said in the beginning, Shravanam is the key, and at an advanced stage, Shravanam will turn into Smaranam. Shravanam will bring Smaranam eventually. As the heart becomes pure, now in pure heart will naturally remember Krishna, but because our heart is not pure, there are many desires and many fears and many disturbances in the mind, and the mind is not very conducive right now. But that's why we are taking the Aushadhi, the medicine of Harinam, and the medicine of Sadhu Sangha, the medicine of deity worship, the medicine of Shrimad Bhagavatam, and hoping, if possible, we can remember Krishna. But they are eternal associate of the Lord. They can completely focus on Lotus feet of Govinda.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Dhanwad
Thank you,
Pranam.
Mataji. Dandavat pranams. Alka Mataji, you have a question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Danvat pranam.
Dandavat pranam, Mata. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question which is not related to the session. My question is, I was actually listening to one YouTube video, and they said it's okay to lie for bhakti. So I was a bit confused and kind of
Understood.
wanted
So,
to
what is the
check with
answer?
you.
Yes. Okay. Okay, Mataji, thank you. There are instances from Bhagavatam, from Chaitanya Charitamrita, where there were cases of lying for bhakti. Like one example that comes is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was going to South India tour, he was going for the purpose of delivering all the people in South India. But he didn't want to take anybody with them because if anybody comes with them, then they would try to give a lot of comfort to Lord, arrange a bed for the Lord, arrange nice food for the Lord, and Lord want to perform severe austerities. Lord want to just travel and to set his own example. He want to depend on Krishna, although Lord is himself, Mahaprabhu is himself Krishna, but he wanted to set an example about the duty of a sannyasi is to totally depend upon Krishna and not to depend upon one's own arrangements. So various reasons Lord didn't want to take anybody with him, and he wanted to give mercy very freely to anyone and everyone. And he don't want his followers and the others to see and admire Lord. He just want to give Krishna to everybody. So he decided to go alone, and then he gave the reason that I am going to South India to search for my brother. Although Lord Chaitanya knew that his brother Vishwarup has already left the planet, but the Lord said, "Please give your permission. I want to go and see my brother." So there, Prabhupada says, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said this, but we cannot. I mean, another instance of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, one person came to him, and Saraswati Thakur, Prabhupada's spiritual master, he was taking devotees for Vrindavan Yatra. So one person came to him and he said, there is no possibility I can get off from my work, but I want to join you in Vrindavan Yatra. So can I say that I'm sick? And Saraswati Thakur says, yes, you are sick. You may not be sick physically, but you are spiritually sick. So you can tell your office that you are sick and join me for yatra. So there are instances where Saraswati Thakur sanctioned, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself followed. But when it comes to us, especially we should not, because the thing is we can misuse these principles also for our own motives, and that's why it is not advisable, and they are liberated souls. It's not very much advisable for us to lie. As much as possible we should be truthful, as much as possible, if possible all the time, and especially we should not lie to senior devotees or devotees in general, as much as possible. Does that answer, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Dhanavad pranam. Okay, anything else? Anyone has any other discussion, question?
Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam, Hare Krishna.
Dhanavad pranam.
Very
Hare Krishna.
mesmerizing sharing, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. Prabhuji, one inquiry is Pandavas are eternal associates of Lord uh, in in spiritual world in Dwarka, like that, or like is there any reference to that, Prabhuji?
Well, Dwarka and Vrindavan, they both have their existence as per our acharyas. Arjuna is also present in one of the form in Vrindavan also. But the pastimes, I mean, we see that the pastimes of Arjuna and Pandavas, they also come when Krishna moved out of Vrindavan in a general way. Does that answer, Prabhuji?
Okay, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
In
And Prabhuji,
both.
we hear that near Shamakund we have Pandavas having Pandavas
Bhajan.
like eternally existing as trees
Well,
in
not
near
eternally
Shamkund.
existing at
So
trees, Prabhuji.
mhm.
They are doing bhajan in that form, but they are not eternally existing in that form.
Yes, Prabhuji, yes. So they are like after attaining that spiritual perfection, one can travel in that way, like for
But
meditation
yeah,
on Lord's like that.
just see, Prabhu, their attachment to
Yes, yes.
Krishna. Just see their attachment to Krishna. They can stand in the form of a tree and constantly remember the lotus feet of Govinda. Our case, we can't even spend half an hour thinking of the lotus feet of Govinda. Half an hour, we will think, oh, too much is there now. Now I have to do something about it. This is the level of devotion that these Pandavas had for Krishna.
So it was very special to have this session, Prabhuji. I was also thinking, Prabhuji, like Arjuna got the enlightenment and that sudden attraction, and seeing Arjuna, others got. So, is there any special reference to that? Like we see Arjuna getting that attraction to Lord, and then he moved, and then everybody got inspired seeing Arjuna. So, like that, I was thinking Arjuna is special in that way among all the Pandavas that way.
Well, this is also there with us, Prabhu, like on a smaller level. We can relate all these pastimes to ourselves also. Arjuna became overwhelmed by depression, lamentation, anxiety, um, mm, grief. And then when he remembered Krishna, he overcame all these symptoms and became completely absorbed and became joyful and free from lamentation. And that is there in Kunti, that is there in Yudhishthira Maharaj, that is there, and devotion is contagious by nature. So after hearing Arjuna about the glories of the Lord and his own devotion, whatever they all had within them, they all kind of focused there, or all the frequencies matched lotus feet of Govinda, and that's it. That was the time to retire. Because, and also one cannot retire artificially unless one gain release from the material existence. Otherwise, Krishna says, then you become a pretender. Even if you retire, um, if you are acting based on the modes, then the modes will, you will do the same thing again, and then you will be called a charlatan or pretender. But they gained released because they became completely focused on Govinda. They got their spiritual intelligence back, and then they departed.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Okay, so I think we'll end here. Thank you all for
Hare Krishna.
joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji, yes.
I don't have any doubt, but we met Vigal Das Prabhuji have felt very happy to have this association.
I heard.
Nearby Miyapur we went, Prabhuji. In that lecture, we went to that center. Miyapur center, Prabhuji's lecture was there, hosted. So we went there, Prabhuji, very happy, Prabhuji. I remind Radha Gopi Jana Vallabha reminded Prabhuji after seeing him.
Very nice. Thank you for sharing. Hare Krishna.
Very glowing, Prabhuji. Prabhuji.
Thank you. We will end here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Anant Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Dandavat pranam. Prabhuji Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
Dandavat pranam. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Thank
Krishna.
you so much Prabhuji.
Thank you
Hare
very much.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Dhanavad.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Prabhuji.
Thank you Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.